Hi everyone! And just like that, I was in Spain. I'm currently in Madrid on a rowboat in Retiro Park. So in my previous video, you saw my attempt at speaking Spanish the whole day, and I'm going to use that sort of as a barometer to see how much I improve through the month that I'm going to be here in Spain. I arrived a couple of days ago. It's been really cold so far. Today's like low 60s, so I'm considering this a warm day. So we're out here on this boat, having a beautiful time. I'm sitting here appreciating how wonderful it is to be in Europe, speaking a foreign language all day, every day. I'll have some more insights at our next destination. So see you in a second. We actually stopped by the Naval Museum. Walking around looking at all of these ship models, I don't understand how they could get built. They're just so complex and gigantic. I mean the actual ships, not the models. I understand how ship models get built. Greetings from the apartment. On the way home, I impulse bought a slice of vegan carrot cake. Ooh, she big. Good, not great. Okay, done with the cake. So we arrived Saturday, today is Wednesday, so we've already been here a few days and we've already had tons of Spanish food. What have we had so far? We've had Spanish tortilla, croquetas, patatas bravas, churros. We went to the famous churreria where you can get churros and this delicious thick hot chocolate that you dip the churros in. That's the famous one. We wanted to try that first, and then throughout the rest of our time here, I'm sure we'll have churros again at different places and maybe compare and decide which one we like best. What else have we had? We've been having a lot of vermouth, which according to Google is an aromatized fortified wine. Is that what it said? Okay, it's a spiced wine. It's really delicious. It's really popular here. I had heard of vermouth. It's a cocktail ingredient, but I don't think I had ever had it as its own drink before this trip. But my first taste, I took a sip, I was like, oh my god, this is actually really good. It's very nice. It's sort of sweet, interesting flavors. It reminds me a little bit of Glühwein in Germany, but not exactly the same. And this is a drink that people have with anything really. It's an aperitif in Spain. Okay, what else? So I'm all over the place naming tapas, drinks, breakfasts, but we've also had huevos rotos con jamón, pimientos de padrón, which are sort of like shishito peppers, but it might be a different pepper, I'm not sure. I tried salmorejo, which is a cold tomato soup that I had never had before. It sort of tastes exactly like what pan con tomate tastes like. It's sort of the same ingredients. It's tomato, olive oil, garlic, salt, I don't know what else, but it's really delicious. So those are the Spanish foods we've had just in the 3 or 4 days that we've been walking around so far. Speaking of food, the thing that we have had to get ourselves accustomed to is the Spanish meal times. This is something I had known about before coming here, but wasn't really familiar with all the set times. I think everyone knows that Spanish people eat dinner really late, but there's a lot more to it than that. There's an interesting rhythm of meals throughout the day, and some of those meals are smaller snacks. So far we've been pretty jet lagged and waking up a little later than we want to and plan to for the rest of our time here. So we've been waking up, going out, getting a coffee and a pan con tomate or tostada con tomate, which is a piece of toast, tomato pulp, olive oil, and salt. It's so good. It's so refreshing. Beautiful, fresh flavor. It's a lovely way to start the day. It feels light enough that it sort of like inspires you to keep going. It's not a heavy, you know, like a, oh my god, why did I eat that stack of IHOP pancakes sort of breakfast. What else to say about our few days here? I have been using Spanish absolutely everywhere. I have ordered everything, 100% of the things that we've gotten to eat, I have ordered in Spanish, and I feel incredible. And the wonderful thing so far here in Madrid is that when I speak to a cashier or a waiter or anyone in Spanish, they respond in Spanish. This seems like a given, but to compare, I was in Berlin in January and I tried practicing my German and ordering things in German, and everyone would just switch right to English as soon as they detected my accent. And so it became this weird game of chicken where I'm speaking to them in German but they're trying to talk to me in English, and so it's like, no, I will not give in. And so I would have to continue talking in my broken German just for the practice. And so I wonder why. What is that difference? Is it because Germans have such a good level of English that they want to practice? Does it feel more comfortable for them to communicate faster because they obviously know more English than I do German. I'm not sure what exactly it is and what the difference is here in Spain, where they hear me, I definitely have an accent, but they still continue to talk to me in Spanish. Regardless, I absolutely adore the fact that they are engaging with me in my target language, even if they hear my accent, even if they hear my grammatical mistakes. Today at lunch we had sushi, and we got there and I was a little confused on the menu, and I asked questions about it in Spanish and he was talking to me in Spanish, and then he could tell that I was confused because I was not understanding what he was explaining, and so he asked if I would prefer it in English, and I said, okay, just for this. And so he explained it in English. I was like, oh, okay. And then every other interaction after that was in Spanish. It felt really respectful. Like he can tell I prefer Spanish, and so he's just going to talk to me in Spanish. Feels really friendly. I have no fear whatsoever making mistakes or asking them to switch to English or anything. There's no shame. I can just tell that the Spanish people would not hold it against me. They wouldn't, you know, roll their eyes or get annoyed at my poor Spanish. It just feels truly friendly. Everyone has been really kind everywhere we've gone so far. So in general, I'm really enjoying it here, and we've only been here just a couple days. I've already learned a few new words, a few new phrases, some from just interacting and eavesdropping on people as they do things, and some from watching videos, like how to order something in Spanish. You know, in my head it's like, me gustaría un café, but that's not how you do it here. Here you would say, me pones un café, which is an unusual construction in my mind. You're just saying what they're doing, but it's interpreted as a polite or common request. Me pones un café, por favor? Gracias. Sí, para llevar. So I've been trying to get more comfortable putting things into that construction. I brought this notebook with me from New York, so I'm going to use it to write down words and phrases that I hear out in the world that I don't know. But also what I think is important is, as I go throughout the day doing different things, going to museums, going to cafes, I'll write in this the phrases that I realize I am missing, that I need to connect the connective tissue for me to express myself the way that I want. And then from there, I can call my mom up and ask her how to say things. Or I have been using Bumble BFF to try and find Spanish girls to become friends with. And I already found one, and we're going to meet for coffee next week and do a language exchange. So I'll talk with her in English because she's learning English, and then we'll talk in Spanish. And so I can bring this with me and ask her all of the random bits and bobs here of things I need to learn how to say. I'm also excited to have a point of contact of someone who is in the culture, who can tell me about, you know, the Spanish lifestyle, things to do around Madrid, and also just context for different phrases and the intention or context of different words or phrases when they're being used. For example, I struggle right now with how to say excuse me. Do you say perdón, perdone, perdona? Do you say disculpa, disculpe? Each one implies something different depending on who you're talking to, depending on the level of formality. And so these are things I'm trying to get more familiar with, but we can talk about that in a different video. Anyway, the next few videos I'm going to be taking you around with me in Madrid. I'll make some videos where I focus on some vocabulary and grammar that I'm learning, and we'll see how things go. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.